Nykaa in Sanskrit means heroine, and that's exactly what it has turned out to be on the Lal Street. What a bumper listing, an IPO pop of a 100%, the market capitalization crossing 1 lakh crore rupees within minutes. Joining us today, the lady who started it all after she hit 50, age is just a number, Falguni Nayar, as well as her son Anchit. Thank you so much for joining us today from the stock exchange on your big day. Falguni, how does it feel? And be honest, did you really think you would see an IPO pop like this?
No, I think it's a fantastic fantastic to see this kind of overwhelming response at the time of the listing. I think the entire IPO journey has been very rewarding as we met lots of investors and we saw validation of our business model in terms of them liking the story and the overwhelming participation in the IPO, and now followed by a fantastic listing. You know me, Nayantara, for so many years. I tend to be quite quite subdued and guarded, but today I must admit that it's a fantastic day and really feeling happy today.
Yes, and it's great to see you wearing the Nykaa colors, joining us from the National Stock Exchange. You had Katrina Kaif also there for the listing ceremony. You had your full family there. But Falguni, you say you're understated, but I want to ask you, how conscious are you of the fact that, you've shattered so many glass ceilings, whether it is becoming you were a female investment banker, a leader one in the country. Now you're the first female founder turned unicorn listing on the Lal Street. How conscious are you of all of this?
Like I said, I don't like the gender bias, but yes, I'm very conscious of the fact that we as women need to really want to be bold enough to dream and then not be afraid to pursue our dreams, and then the appropriate rewards will follow. So I'm just glad I did it, and my only message to all the women out there is that don't be afraid to dream. And I think dreaming and being, like we say, being in the spotlight of your life, your spotlight of your life should be on you, and that's very important.
Anchit, when are we going to see the Nayak in Nykaa?
Yeah, so I think, Nayantara, we've already launched the Nykaa Man App, and it's pretty much the same thing we do for women on Nykaa.com, we're doing for men. We think men have been actually the ignored segment of the population when it comes to beauty and grooming historically. So, we saw an opportunity there, and we've launched the app. It's called NykaMan.com, and it caters to all the grooming and lifestyle needs of the Indian men. So we're very excited. So that's our Nayak equivalent to the Nykaa.
Falguni, you get the markets so well. You've seen, a dream IPO. Look at the pop on the IPO, 100%. Now, if you just rewind a couple of weeks ago, we saw that with Zomato too, right? And it also entered the 1 lakh crore rupee market capitalization on day one. However, that stock price has now plateaued. Compare that with maybe, let's say, DMart, which is still considered to be such a successful IPO. Any message to the shareholders? Okay, you've had the bumper listing, but if they're going to stay invested, how are they going to continue to make money?
Yeah, I think as all of us say that this very early journey for e-commerce and e-commerce adoption in India, and we think there is a huge runway ahead, and I think over the next few years you will continue to see consume more of beauty and fashion and all the lifestyle segments that we cater to, as well as many of them choosing to buy it online, though Nykaa is omni-channel, so whether they buy it online, offline, it doesn't matter. But there is going to be a clear trend towards more and more online consumption through e-commerce. And I think at Nykaa, we are very clear that we will continue to build for the long term. I think customer acquisition is going to be an important target for us all across all our platforms. We are going to continue to push for customer acquisition. So I think all I can say is that, like as they say in Hindi, lambi race ki ghodi hai. So I think continue to bet on us for the long term, and we'll build from here. This is just the beginning of a journey. We can't deliver anything overnight. Be patient and be with us over long term, and we'll continue to value their trust and commitment. From our side, there is a commitment that we'll work very hard to do the right thing with all the trust and all the capital that they've committed to us. We will make sure that we grow the company in the right way.
Because Falguni, if you look at the PE multiples and what is happening, what should the investors be betting on, particularly the retail shareholders? Is it, for example, the big bet on fashion? That's what a lot of analysts are saying.
Clearly, I think fashion is a very high growth business for us at the moment. We are growing both in beauty, but exceptional growth in fashion has been experienced over the last couple of years. It's a new business for us, less than 2.5-year-old business. So it has a long runway. It's a bigger market size, bigger TAM. So there is a clear desire to continue to build in fashion. But I think even in beauty, the journey is early. There is more to go. And like we've talked elsewhere, we want to be a house of brands. So there is a whole bunch of brands that Nykaa owns, and we'll continue to build each of those also going ahead. I just want to remind you that we just recently acquired a brand called Dot & Key, that adds to our skincare offering that we have for the consumers. So I think we will definitely continue to build in many of the lifestyle segments, because within fashion also we have home category, we have kids and men's. So it's a holistic business model that we are building.
I think if I could just add one thing, we remain very committed, obviously, to the multi-brand retail element on both the beauty and fashion side. That's where our scale comes from. So I think, yes, of course, there is a focus on building this house of brands, but the sheer scale that you can achieve through servicing your brand partners, and we work with over 2,000 brand partners, both Indian and global, and our ability to partner with them and really create value for them is also what's going to help us scale this business on both the beauty and fashion side.
So Anchit, building on that, when you talk of house of brands, the Therasio model, as is popularly called globally, and picking up on that Dot & Key acquisition, how important is this going to be for Nykaa in organic growth? Zomato's hit upon that strategy. We're seeing a lot of unicorns do it. Now you're going to be flushed with cash. Are you going to bet big on inorganic growth, Anchit?
I think if you look at our track record, Nayantara, we've always been very we've always taken our role as stewards of capital very responsibly, and we've built a very capital efficient business. So yes, I think inorganic and organic growth both we will look at and evaluate from time to time. But I think on the inorganic side for us, as I said, if you look at our track record, capital efficiency and doing the right thing for us shareholders always will come first. So the option remains, of course, and we see great entrepreneurs in India every day. We work with them on the beauty and the fashion side, and there are definitely some great businesses out there. And as I said, I think we'll evaluate all tactically and what's the right strategic fit for us as a company.
Because in the fashion segment, we suddenly started seeing so much consolidation, right, Falguni? Whether, it's the Ritu Kumar, the Sabyasachis, the Manish Malhotras. Is that something that you're also going to do? Are you going to be competing suddenly with Reliance and the Birla Group for that?
At the moment, we have a couple of brands that we have started in-house. So they are more of an organic brands that are being built. In fashion, we've done a couple of inorganic acquisitions earlier. 20 Dresses were a western wear brand that we had acquired a couple of years ago, and also Pippa Bella, which is a jewelry brand that we acquired last year. So we always remain open, and I think the landscape is very wide in fashion. It's a very large market, and there is a very wide scope for many brands that you can partner with, or either as a retailer, or sometimes you get a chance to acquire them within your fold and you bring them in as entrepreneurs. That's how we look at brand acquisitions. So I think both models remain possible.
To ask both of you one question, Falguni, you've led many IPOs. This may have been your most stressful IPO. I don't know. I'm only assuming that. But now that Nykaa is going to be listed, Falguni, what changes from today for you and for the company?
I think it's a very big responsibility, and a little bit like a tightrope walking from a near-term performance versus building for the long term. And I think the right thing always for any company is to build for the long term, keep the company growth momentum and strength and resilience and strength for the long term. And within that, of course, we'll be subjected to quarter-on-quarter performance and watchful eyes of all the analysts on what we are doing and what does that mean. So I think it's going to be different for us compared to being a private company, but I'm sure we'll learn, and we'll learn to be good at that also.
Yeah, I think if I would just to add, the one thing that will not change is our singular focus on customer delight and customer satisfaction. So I think everything we do at Nykaa, every decision we take is customer backwards. So for us, that remains the focus of our business, and all decisions are taken accordingly. Of course, the biggest change is our shareholder base is going from, just a few hundred or less than 100 to, obviously 3-4 lakh shareholders. So our family is expanding. But we value our investors and our shareholders tremendously, and I think for us it's always about doing the right thing for them. And I think that's probably the biggest difference, is that the Nykaa family is really growing sizably and will continue to do so. So our responsibility to them is paramount, and I think we are very humbled by the opportunity, and we take this responsibility very seriously.